Welcome, welcome, welcome to another exciting episode of Wind Down with Kev. Before I begin, let me thank all of you that has already subscribed, liked, and hit the notification button on our channel. Thank you. You are appreciated. Also, thank you to our sponsors, Canopy Connect and Carol Media. Please reach out to them for all things digital. And a warm Wind Down with Kev welcome to our newest sponsor, my business partner, my bank, Wintrust Bank. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So today we have a first on Wind Down with Kev. I love doing different things. And my next guests, plural, if I didn't get the S included there, they are a different guest for Wind Down with Kev. Not one guest, but two. This is a married couple. They are both Allstate insurance agents. They are in the DMV area and licensed in more states than that. They are elite agents. They're award-winning elite agents. They're also, like myself, members of the Pan-Hellenic Council. She's a Delta, he's a Q. They are both graduates of James Madison University. So if you're watching today, please put your hands together and give a warm Wind Down with Kev welcome to Paul and Markel Forbes.
Hi
Hello,
there.
my friends. How y'all doing today?
Doing
Great.
good.
How's it going, Kevin?
I'm good. I'm happy to just talk with y'all and get some of my friends on the podcast and have some fun So I gave the warm welcome from my heart with what I know about you since we work together closely. But Markel and Paul, what did I leave out about your introduction?
Well, we live in Loudoun County in Virginia. Yeah, we both went to JMU. Paul has been, well, I'll let him talk about himself, but I have been an agent for almost 9 years now. And my background is accounting. So I started off in financial accounting related positions at different companies before I became an agent.
I love it. I love it. Paul.
All right. So as Markel told you, we live here in Northern Virginia. Been an Allstate agent for 25 years. And like you, Kevin, my background used to work for the company. And I think we both started our insurance careers in underwriting, just on
Yes.
different sides of the desk.
Absolutely, absolutely. Paul, other common ground is you're a native New Yorker, a Long Islander like myself, but you got smart and went to the DMV area. So let's go into the DMV. Let's start more specifically. Markel, born and raised in DC, Maryland, which part of the DMV?
Born in Topeka, Kansas.
Okay, let's go.
My dad was stationed there when I was born, so I basically grew up in Alexandria, Virginia. That's where I went to high school, and then attended, like you said before, James Madison University. So I am definitely a native of the DMV area for the most part.
I love it. I love it. And just so I don't mess it up, let's shout out all the states where you guys are licensed at.
We're licensed in Virginia, Maryland, Washington, D.C., Delaware, and West Virginia.
I love it. So y'all knocking out like 5 of my 50 states right at the beginning. That makes this easy, but I'll still stay honest to my commitment and to my sponsors. We're still going to get to 50. Before we get into the business part, I definitely would like you both to acknowledge your beautiful daughter.
Yes.
Yes, and she's a New Yorker now. So she was born in Virginia and now lives in New York City. She's in Harlem.
Yeah.
And I moved to Virginia and we just kind of reversed roles here.
I love it. So big shout out to
Yeah,
your daughter.
she's watching us. Hey, Lauren.
Hey, Laura, how are you? How are you? Laura, see how good a host I am? I didn't let them go too far without making sure they acknowledge you. I see the beautiful
Absolutely.
pictures that they put up when they get to come up and hang out with you. So speaking of hanging out, I thought a good start point of our conversation would be dialing back to football season. You guys had a chance to do something special at halftime of a JMU football game this summer. Markel, talk about that experience.
It was amazing because we always come back to homecoming, and so I felt it was different because I was coming back kind of and representing my agency. And it was just so surreal to be there and to have that opportunity to, potentially give a student, an amount, based on, their achievement on the football field. But it was, like I said, it was surreal. I just really enjoyed the whole experience, and it meant so much to me, So I was so happy to be selected to be able to do that.
I love it. I love it. Paul, you played the role of the cameraman that day. Take me into the stadium. How many people are there? What did that feel like watching Markel on the field, potentially giving out a sizable all-state donation if that young person successfully had kicked that field goal?
So I will tell you, JMU has a great football program. If you don't follow it, it was a sold out game. It was our homecoming game when we were there. But walking on the field, they really do a great job there. Got to talk to some of the students that were participating in the field goal contest. It was surreal. Got some great pictures. I'm not a trained cameraman, so most of them did not make it to social media.
No worries. Your heart was in the right place. I followed the pictures. I followed the videos. I felt like that was special for me, and it felt like I was there.
And
So,
I was so
Paul,
nervous because it's like, I should feel at home, right? This is JMU, whatever. But I was so nervous because when you think about the number of people in the audience, it was like, oh my God, all these students and everything. Don't let me walk out here and trip, So,
all, all eyes on you. Well, thank
Mhm.
God you didn't have to try to kick the field goal.
Right? Yeah, I could have done that.
And if my memory is correct, unfortunately, he missed it a little to the left or a little bit to the right, but it didn't go through. So, um, one of the fun things about being an all-state agent is just being a part of us giving back, and that's something we've been doing for years and years, giving scholarships back to the community through that process. So it's an honor to talk to both of you, Markel, you being the agent selected to do that. It's an experience that few and far between agents have had around the country. So big kudos for you for having that experience. So let me get to what people want me to talk about. What is it like as a couple with both of you having your own agencies, but working for the same company? Markel, what was it that you saw that you liked about what Paul was doing that led you to also becoming an all-state agent 9 years ago?
Um, Helping people and also flexibility. I mean, Paul watched me work, like I said, my background is accounting. So I was in financial positions and I worked constantly. So I always saw that he had so much flexibility when it comes to work and everything. But also at the same time, I've watched him help, people in some very, very unique situations and different things that people encounter in life. And he actually had, experience, and he had things that he could actually do to help people through some very difficult situations, and that was appealing to me too. So I just felt like I could utilize the skills that I've accumulated in accounting, which will help me be able to run a business, while at the same time help people who are going through difficult situations and stuff like that, and also to help them set up insurance in a way that protects them in case things do happen. So I really liked that about becoming an Allstate agent.
I love it. I love it. I'm going to stay with you for a second in the accounting aspect of your background. We're recording this podcast in February during high season for accounting. So corporate hours versus self-employed hours, a little bit different.
Well, I feel like with self-employment, you're always working,
Yes.
but it's a different level of intensity. And, we have deadlines and stuff like that, but nothing like what I know my fellow accountants and people who are doing taxes and stuff like that are experiencing right now, as a matter of fact. So, yeah, it's definitely different.
I love it. I love it. And Paul, you and I, you mentioned it earlier, we have the same path. We both started this business as underwriters, me on the life side, you on the PNC side. What helped you to make the trigger to jump to the agent side? And how long ago did you make the jump?
Well, I'll tell you the first thing that made the jump is in my prior role with Allstate, I really trained new agents and worked a lot with agents.
Yes.
And I watched what they did. I watched how they help people. I watched how much they liked their job, and that's when I knew this is what I wanted to do. So it was really a no-brainer decision. No regrets. That was 25 years ago. Matter of
Yeah.
fact, I became an agent 2 days before our daughter was born. So
Wow. So with that, this is something that had to work. It was not optional.
exactly,
You made that
100%.
decision. Laura's coming 2 days later. There was no looking back. There's no polishing the resume and looking for other underwriting opportunities. That's very, very relatable. And Paul, I'll share that with you as well. Just watching people do this as an underwriter, helping agents is probably 99% of the reason why I'm podcasting today, because as an underwriter, I was a fan of agents. I love this business. I love the flexibility, Martell, of the time that you get to spend not only helping people, but doing other things. But going back to your point, Markel, that helping people is a huge driver. It's very rewarding to be able to help people put their lives back together on the worst day of their lives. You know, whether it's a car accident, a natural disaster, or a house fire, that's what we get to do. When I say those things, is there any like particular claim in the DMV area that comes to mind where really, because of the policy you sold to someone or because of some event that happened in the area where, thank God, you had given them the right policy, the right coverage, that you were able to help either one person or many people put their lives back together?
I'll give you two, one from the property and casualty side and one from the life insurance side.
Okay.
Very early in my career, wrote a life insurance policy, and it wasn't 4 or 5 years later the person passed,
Okay.
unexpectedly. And knowing that they were going to get this death benefit and they were going to be okay, they weren't going to lose their house, their kids were still going to be able to go to school. That was something that was really powerful, because sometimes we're in sales, we're insurance agents, we help people, but we don't always see what we're providing for folks. And when that happens, you realize that you're making an impact in someone's community, in someone's life.
Love it. I love it. I'm gonna let you give the property and casualty example, and I'm gonna come back to that life insurance in a second. But you said two. You said one on the life side, and you're gonna mention the property and casualty side as well.
Yeah, the property casualty side. My personal doctor had a house fire during COVID, and if you know, in COVID, things moved a little slow as far as there was supply chain issues. There weren't a lot of people at work trying to get permits, architects to rebuild the plans. He was out of his house for a great deal of time, but having Markel and I there to run things by him, to help him through that process, you realize that if people don't have an agent, they don't have any advice. They don't have an advocate for them, someone to help them through a process. So, it was a reminder. While it was a tragedy that he's just really fully recovering from now, I just think of how much. I don't know if I can imagine anything worse, but we're glad we were there to help them.
I love it, Paul. And I often compare our profession to the medical profession. We rely on doctors for that advice to keep our health in the best shape. People rely on us for advice, excuse me, to keep their finances in shape. And thank you for sharing that story about life insurance. Um, Auto insurance is mandatory, and it was 48 out of 50 states. I think it's 49 out of 50 states. And I think Virginia is the state that just mandated insurance not too long ago. Life insurance is not mandatory, and many people don't know that we, as Allstate agents, offer life insurance. So, Paul, I want to talk to you about your motivation for that policy. Then, Markel, I'm going to pivot to you because I know you and I have had conversations about life insurance, and you're helping people in some of the community organizations that you're involved with. So, I'd love to just stay here in this life insurance pocket for a second.
So I'll tell you, early in my career, I kind of had an attitude that I was going to be a property and casualty agent solely. I was just going to focus on auto, home, some commercial. And early in my career, I only wrote life insurance, because I had
Mhm.
for goals. But after that experience and knowing how important it is, that changed my whole mindset around it.
I love it. So it's something I'm sure you're trying to offer to everybody to properly protect their family. Because let's face it, we get to insure people's most valuable assets, and people think that it's their house or their high end car. But the truth of the matter is, they are the goose that lays the golden egg. So they're the most valuable assets. Markel, what is offering life insurance meant to you? And if you want, I'd love to hear about just some of the work that you've done in your organization and community involvement and educating people about the importance of life insurance.
Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, I am a member of Delta Sigma Theta. So, of course, whenever I have the opportunity to talk about life insurance with my sorority sisters, I do, on an individual basis. It's a tough conversation because it's something that people don't really want to talk about. So, you know, usually situations, unfortunately, brings that to life. And that's an opportunity to kind of talk about it with people, that are going through that have observed someone going through something else, and like, hey, I wonder if they had life insurance, and then if they didn't, what about you? Do you have it, or something like that? It opens up that opportunity. I find that the community is really kind of resistant to it, but you got to kind of push the envelope when you have the opportunity. Especially, I'm also in an organization of Black women-owned businesses. And and that's something that we have to think about as we have businesses and stuff like that. Key man life insurance, that's really important too. So there's just different ways to tackle it, and it's a tough conversation, but it's necessary.
Absolutely, because with the organization, with the Black women owned businesses, unlike all of our past journeys in corporate, where maybe we have some group life insurance or something else, once you're self employed, all of that goes away.
Right.
And you are the generational wealth builder. You are the one that everyone is relying on. And we support people both children, families, aunties, uncles, grandparents. We are the glue to everything. So thank you for the work that you're doing there, educating the community on life insurance. That information is priceless. So one of the things I've asked in all these podcasts is how hard is to someone that's listening to this podcast, maybe they're in the DMV area, West Virginia, Delaware, some of the other states where you're licensed to do business at. How hard is it to get started, to get a license, and to get into the insurance business?
I don't think it's very difficult. It's just education. There's classes you have to take, there's tests you have to pass, just to be able to talk to someone about life insurance. But I don't necessarily think it's a great barrier, but there's a barrier to success in the industry. You have to be committed, you have to be consistent in your education, in your learning, and you have to, sometimes insurance agents, no one really wants to talk to them, almost like car salesmen sometimes. But you just really have to be committed and dedicated and disciplined if this is going to be your craft to find success.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Definitely, all of those things is more and required. As you guys are looking for people to join your respective agencies, Markel, what qualities, what are you looking for in people that want to change this profession? That's question one, but I want to ask you a secondary question as well. If there's someone listening to this and they're in their corporate career, maybe they're being downsized, or maybe this accounting season, they're saying, this is my last one. I'm going to pivot and do something different. What would you say to them about this opportunity to own and operate an insurance agency?
Well, when people inquire about insurance, I always try to find out just exactly how much do they know about insurance, how much do they know about their own insurance, and that's very telling. You can see whether they have an interest in it or whether they have that very basic understanding. And then if they do, or if they have a real interest in it, I always encourage people to try to get the license, take a class, and try and get the license. And to me, that is like the barrier of entry right there. If they are committed to, studying for the exam and passing the insurance license, that tells me a lot about, their interests, and whether, and it also helps them figure out, is this something that they're really interested in? Because once you get past that place, and you pass those exams, the PNC exam, the life insurance exam, then that kind of helps you figure out, okay, is this something that I'm really interested in? And then beyond that, Do you enjoy sales? Do you
Yes.
like to sell?
Yes.
And to me, everyone cannot do that, of course.
Yes.
So you need to figure out if you have that in you to sell it. Do you like insurance and do you like sales? And I think those are two key things that are needed in order to be successful.
I agree with you 1,000% because one of the things that happens when you study for the test, no matter what state you're located in, the first realization you're going to have is how much you don't know about the policies you have
Mhm.
that you're paying for already. Doesn't matter what company you're with. Insurance is one of those things that we pay for, but we don't know a lot about.
That's
But that's also the beauty of the profession is that once you learn about it, you realize as much as you feel like, wow, I've had insurance for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, I can really educate others and I would enjoy doing it. So I think that's a game changer for getting people interested in wanting to stay in insurance. So, okay, let's talk about a little bit of the change. 25 years ago, you come into insurance. Let's get my dates right. My math is good. That's right at 2000. Wow, I can't believe the year 2000 was 25 years ago. Technology wise, that's Y2K. We're worried about whether we're going to be able to access our bank accounts with with our ATM and all sorts of things about computers. Um, Fast forward to where we are today. We're in a Wi-Fi world where everything is digital. How has things changed for you in terms of running the agency and how customers find you today?
Well, I will tell you, 25 years ago, Allstate agents did not have email addresses.
Yes.
So that's how much the world has changed.
Yes.
But 25 years ago, people would knock on our door. They may be lined up outside the door to come in when we opened. Today, we don't interact with many people in our office at all. Um, the technology of writing a policy used to be on paper. To make changes, you used to have to submit it on paper. Now everything is, is computer based. It's all data. So it's completely changed. People don't come in the office. We communicate a lot through email, communicate a lot through the phone, communicate a lot through texting. It's very, as you can see behind me, I'm at home right now. Markel is at our business location in the office, but most people don't have time or don't make time to meet in person. We use Zoom to do insurance reviews and connect with people.
I love it. I love it. I love it. It is changing. And I like you earmarking it with the email addresses. I can remember one of my roles as a sales leader in 2000 was bringing desktop PCs out to agent offices that just come back to New York. And agents told me I could plug that wherever they want it, but they were never going to touch it. So that was the response. So, Markel, I want to stay in the digital conversation. One of your passions outside of insurance is that you're a fantastic photographer and you're doing some amazing things digitally on LinkedIn. And you're, venturing into social media. How is that digital presence, being on LinkedIn and what you post on social media? How is that helping making people aware that you're there and all the things that you can help them with?
Well, one good thing about LinkedIn is that I feel like that is where my client base is,
Yes.
so I make a point of connecting with people on LinkedIn. There are a lot of professionals. I mean, of course, it's a professional social media platform, but I also utilize Instagram and Facebook too. I think the key is to constantly remind people what you do and what services you provide. And I think that's one of the great things about social media is that it constantly, you can constantly update people and remind people of these things, and I think it's very helpful. I love LinkedIn, I really do, and I love being able to know what people are doing professionally, and maintaining those relationships is such a great networking tool.
I love it. And I think you're one of the stronger agents on LinkedIn. Many of us are doing everything we can on Facebook and Instagram, but I think LinkedIn is a hidden jewel that people can tap into when you think of college alumni, fraternity or sorority connections, prior work connects. They're all on LinkedIn and it's 100% personal, not as much as social. So there's a lot of value for there. So,
And you can
you
see all of their information right there. You can see they're a business owner. You can see where they work. I mean, everybody, puts all of their information there, and whatever product that you have in your or service, and you're trying to target a particular audience, you can isolate people that way. You can target specific people that where you feel like you have something to offer them.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Both of you are so involved in the community. I can pigeonhole what I wrote, but I think the easier question is each of you, what are the community projects that you're involved in now that you're most passionate about?
You want to start,
I'm
Markel?
sorry. I thought I turned my phone off. My I guess my one of my I have several organizations that I work with, but one of my passions is 12 Days of Christmas. We basically, during the month of November, shop for a group of kids who are at risk, and we give their families these gifts based on lists that they provide us, and we give also a donation to the family for Christmas dinner and everything. So we shop in November for the kids based on the list that they provide us, and then we have an event where we give the gifts unwrapped to the parents, and donations to them, for Christmas. So I absolutely love this organization. It is just so, I feel, sometimes you feel like you do community service, and you're not really sure if it's really reaching the people you want it to reach. This one, I know very well firsthand that we're actually making an impact to these families, and I absolutely love it.
Your passion and your answer, your whole tonality, everything changed when you began to talk about it. So it's really, really clear. But before we move past it, go ahead and shout out some of the other organizations that you are involved with.
I'm involved with the Boat Collective, as I mentioned before, the Black women-owned businesses, and I'm also a member of Delta Sigma Theta. Um, I am an associate member of Jack and Jill of America. Um, I think that's it. Am I forgetting
All
anything,
right.
Paul?
Okay. I'm
Hey,
going to ask Paul, and I'm going to let you jump back in because I know something's going to pop in your mind.
Yeah.
I
Paul,
was going
you're
to say,
heavily involved here.
Markel is involved in so many things. Sometimes I have a little bit of free time on my hands. She's very involved in the community. I'm involved in the greatest fraternity in the world, Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, and a lot of our work we do is around mentoring young adults, and try to raise a lot of money in our local community for scholarships, help people advance their education, and that's where I spend a lot of my time.
I love it, Paul. I'm not going to challenge you on that. I'm going to let you have that. I'm going to let you have a mega sci-fi. This is about you. It is not about me. I just love talking to agents around the country, seeing everybody's different passion projects, and knowing what we do outside of our offices. Not just writing business for our benefit, but position ourselves to give back to the community, whether that's through Allstate Foundation or through our own time, which is actually much more valuable than money and the reward you receive by doing this. So here's the obvious question that my audience is wondering right now. Both of you, business owners, Allstate agents, running agencies involved in the community, how do you wind down at the end of the day? Ladies first, Markel, you go first, and then we'll hear from Paul.
I wind down with a really, really good glass of Cabernet.
Okay. Okay. Cabernet it is. Cabernet in music, just a Cabernet, Cabernet in a book, Cabernet in a show.
Just a glass of Cabernet, and I will usually I'm editing pictures when I get home. So
Okay.
that's kind of working a little bit, but I really do enjoy it. But that's typically what I do, or I'm watching TV.
I love it. I love it. So
Unfortunately, we talk about Allstate a little too much. So we have the tendency to discuss, like I said, I feel like as an entrepreneur, you never turn it off.
no,
You're always going, we're always thinking about analyzing how the day went and stuff like that. But yeah.
I love it. I love it. Paul, while Markel is winding down with the Cabernet, how do you wind down at the end of the day?
Not every day, but I try to get some exercise in every day. It's kind of a stress relief, and I'm known to have a drink every now and then. But like Markel said, we don't unfortunately, because we're married, we live together, we work together, we talk about our businesses a lot, but we try to cut that off after dinner. We try to cut that off.
It's not an easy task. I understand, but obviously y'all are doing well. What anniversary will we celebrate this year?
Ooh, trick question.
Markel, let me bail you out, my brother. Markel, what anniversary will we celebrate this year?
We will be celebrating 29, I think.
That is correct. 29 years.
29.
Paul, that's a good husband to agree with her. If she said 32 or
I would say
23,
32.
that
I could have
answer is
said
still correct.
anything. Yeah, I could have said anything.
That is good stuff. Agreeing goes a long way. All right. We're circling the airport. We're landing the plane. Last two questions for each of you. Is there anything that you're doing in your agencies, business or personal wise, that you wish I would have asked that I didn't ask about? I want to give you the stage and give you an opportunity to talk about it.
I'll tell you, one of the things that we talk about with our agent friends is in today's world of everything is instant. Everyone, especially the younger generation, doesn't like to talk on the phone. We all shop on Amazon. We all are on YouTube. We do everything digitally. It's so important, I think, to have a local insurance agent or just do business locally, no matter what the industry is, because there's some advantages to it, and there's a big difference in the experience you receive as a client. And you just when you do something online, you don't have a personal relationship. You miss out on them being an advocate for you. You miss out on local knowledge of the community, how to help you, things like that. And you're always talking to the same people or same group of people when you're dealing with local agencies. So I think sometimes that gets lost in our busy world. So I always like to kind of foot stomp that when I talk to someone.
Paul, let me stay with you for a second. I like that question, and I think you demonstrated that very well when you talked about your doctor having his house burned down. That's exactly the time where you want to be able to talk to someone on their cell phone that's a friend that's going to navigate you through the situation, even in light of the supply chain issues. I can remember what that time was like. We were trying to order some minor things. It was taking forever to get it done. But to know that you had one person that can hear you makes all the difference in the world, that's available when nothing else is there. So definitely, we probably could have went through several other hurricanes and other natural disasters where being local really matters. And that's the point of emphasis I want to take from all these podcasts. There's just some things you know about the local area that a .com or a 1-800 number simply doesn't know. Markel, same question. Anything that you'd like to share that I didn't ask about?
I think what we try to do is to also try to find the balance between our customers' needs and their ways of communicating. We have people like we try to tell our team, texting is available. Try to reach out to, everyone uses their phone for everything now. So if you cannot reach someone or, you've been trying to call them, they're not answering, you have something really important to discuss with them, we want to do an insurance review with you because we want to make sure that your coverage is still meeting your needs. If you've had any changes in life or whatever, and you want to review your policy, we want to get in touch with you. So we need to utilize these tools that people are married to these days,
Yes.
their phone, to be able to reach them. We can't just sit back and just send an email or just call or something like that. We have to meet them where they are. So I think that trying to trend, we're always telling our team, you use your phone all the time, right? So do they,
Yes.
so we have to utilize the tools. We have to keep up. We have to meet people where they are today, so that is, to me, very important. I'm the technology person on the team, so I'm always trying to champion that in the office.
I think you're doing the right thing. And you said it in your answer. Life changes all the time. So
Yeah.
coverages need to change. The policy someone got when they first purchased, when they first got their car at 25, is not the same policy they should have when they double their age at 50. They may have purchased a home. They hopefully have advanced in their career. The value of their home has gone up. Their life insurance needs come into play. Their retirement needs come into play. So there's so many conversations that we want to have. So thank God for you championing that and communicating with people the way they want to be communicated with.
Right.
Okay. We're gonna close. Last question for both of you. Choose the order that you answer it in. But I always like my guests to leave and give listeners, watchers of this podcast, an encouraging word. Maybe someone's watching this podcast. Maybe they want to get into the insurance business or something else. But maybe they're going through a time in life where they're second guessing themselves, not really sure. And I would love for you both to give them just a word of encouragement to keep them going.
I'll start. I'll tell you, whenever you do something in life, failure is the first step to success. So when you try something for the first time, you may not be successful, and more than likely, you're not going to be successful. But you have to come back. You got to get back up, come back, work at it, come from a different angle, and you have to practice. You have to be dedicated and consistent. You can't. You just have to. If you know it's what you want to do, you just have to really follow through on everything you do, and you're going to fail a bunch of times before you finally succeed.
Paul, I love that answer. If you see me post that, I will give you posting credit. Failure is the first step to success. I love that. Markel.
My advice is to be willing to try things that you think that you may not be good at. You know, I as you stated earlier, after I started insurance and opened up my agency, I guess like 4 years into it, I decided to pursue my passion of photography. I am a numbers person. I have an accounting background. I did never thought I had any type of artistic ability at all. you know. So I went down this path and I have had a whole lot of success around this. Don't just assume that because you have a particular background or something like that, that you can't venture off and do different things. Try different things. I think that at this time right now, there's a lot of stressful change going on and stuff like that right now. And we need outlets. We need things that we can do to help us, to be able to take our mind off of things that are going on in our day to day work and stuff like that. Try different things. Do something that you never thought that you would have an interest in. You'd be surprised. It might be something that is really becomes a big part of your life. You just never know.
I love it. And watching your photography, I know you get a double benefit. Not only do you get to do it, the reward of the great headshots that you do, and I encourage all agents to take and update their social media and everything everywhere, but you also get the added benefit of making people feel really good and
Yes.
look their
Love
best.
that.
So I'm sure that is very rewarding as well.
It
So,
is.
ladies and gentlemen, Markel and Paul, first, thank you both for being amazing guests. Thank you for taking time away from your business to spend time with me on this podcast. You both dropped incredible jewels, added incredible value to everyone that's watching us now on the live stream, whether they're on Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram. Absolutely added tremendous value to so many people. And for people that are out there, whether you're watching this on the live stream or you're listening to it later on whatever podcast platform that you use, please click the like and subscribe button so you can receive the notification when this goes live on YouTube and other great content just like this. So we always close with an attitude of gratitude. We give a big shout out to our sponsors, Carroll Media, Canopy Connect, and our newest sponsor, Wintrust Bank. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together and give a warm wind down with Kev thank you to Paul and Markel Forbes.